Hey there, my name is Jaden Anderson, and I'm really excited to submit this video and share a bit about my sales philosophy and process. So, to start, my background is in franchise development with United Franchise Group. I represented brands like Sinorama and Gray's Craze, which is a charcuterie franchise. And I will say that selling a franchise is the definition of a high value and high stakes close. It's a massive financial commitment and a life changing decision for any buyer. And one specific time that I can remember that stands out is when I was working with a very qualified prospect who was getting cold feet right before the final step. Everything had gone great along the sales pipeline until the very end. Started thinking a bit too much. And the right thing to do there was, instead of pushing the contract and pushing the numbers, I took a step back and leaned into discovery. And what I found out was that their real hesitation wasn't the business model itself; it was fear of taking the time, taking the commitment of time away from their family. And by kind of shifting that conversation from how the franchise model creates long-term leverage and a legacy for their children, I was able to confidently close them on booking their Discovery Day tour, which is something we did at UFG. Bring them over, fly them out to our headquarters in West Palm Beach, and kind of show them around and show them what we do. And doing that is what finalized the deal. It reinforced for me that closing those high-ticket deals is about uncovering their deep-rooted why, as to why they want to do it or why they don't want to do it. And for the second question of why, I need to think about it. When a prospect tells me that, which I've heard many times, especially in my time as a franchise development representative, I don't panic and I don't get pushy. I usually validate what they say. I'll say something like, "I completely understand it's a very big decision to make." And when clients do need to think it over, it comes down to one of three things: the financial side, the timing, or maybe I just haven't explained the value clearly enough yet, which does happen pretty often. Some people have different needs, and you need to apply to people's different needs and wants and desires. And to be completely transparent, I would say, which one of those feels most true to you? And that drops their guard, asking them those questions of what's holding you back the most. It helps to isolate the actual objection so we can talk about it and I can kind of tell them why we can help them so much. And for the third question about being confident in a closing role, it comes down to pure grit and process. At UFG, I was making 700 to 800 outbound calls a day, and you hear a lot of no's at that volume, quite a lot. A lot of people saying, they never even inquired about this. A lot of people saying, I don't have the money anymore. And I still led my entire team in call count and qualified sales transfers on my last week there. I actually have picture proof of it. And I never took rejection personally. That was one thing that made me, a really good salesman there at United Franchise Group. Because my entire philosophy is qualify hard and close clean. I know how to put in the reps. I know how to build a qualified sales pipeline, and I know how to guide people across that finish line. And for question 4 of the price objections, if someone pushes back on price, I view it as a signal that I just haven't shown them enough value yet, because it's the same thing with the entire sell me this pen concept. Somebody needs to see the value of the pen, obviously, in order to make the decision to actually purchase that pen. And with something as big as a franchise, a life-changing decision, they need to know what they're getting out of it. So a lot of that time, I obviously wouldn't offer a discount immediately. I would ask questions to figure out what it is currently costing them to not solve their problem. And once we establish that pain point, I can kind of pivot back to how our service is the exact solution they need. What do you need right now? What's holding you back? Well, this is what you need right now, and here's why. And what's holding you back is something that we can work through together. I want to shift their mindset from seeing it as an expense to seeing it as an investment, because that's what it is. So yeah, that goes for my answers. Thank you guys so much for your time. I know this is a bit of a long video. I know I have the drive and the closing mentality to make a massive impact on your team, and I look forward to the next steps.